Peter McDonald with us. He's going to now give us a bit of a glimpse of the EV strategy in place at Nissan. Welcome, Peter. Thank you so much for joining us, and over to you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Peter. I'm the Fleet Director at Nissan. It's a real privilege to present to you today, and especially to follow Chris at Centrica. Centrica have made a major investment in EVs. They first started piloting electric LCVs back in 2013, and they've learnt through testing and application. They're really one of the real pioneers in this space. A little bit about Nissan. We have a large footprint in the UK and a large investment in electric vehicles. We design, do research and development, and produce in the UK. In Sunderland, we build Qashqai, Duke, and Leaf, and we've considerable experience in the EV space. We launched Leaf 10 years ago, ENV200 over 7 years ago. As a brand, we are the largest supplier of electric LCV, and we're the second largest supplier of battery electric vehicles to UK fleets, second only to Tesla. I believe the purpose of today is to talk about how fleets electrify, and the case study of fleets like Centrica and walking through what they've done is a great place to start. We draw great inspiration from our customers, hearing the stories of how fleets like Dundee Council, Gloucester Police Forces, DPD, National Grid, Scottish Power, and many others, and the learning they've been through really does help us all to support the transfer of best practice. We see three clear trends that we wanted to share today. One is clearly full battery electric vehicles have hit the mainstream, and drivers and fleets alike are accepting the transition. Demand for battery electric vehicles is growing. From a benefit in kind perspective, drivers are able to make savings of £3,000 to £4,000 per year, transitioning from an ICE to a battery electric vehicle. They're also growing in demand in the personal lease space, and to the point that in 2020, 3.5 times more battery electric vehicles were bought by UK fleets versus the prior year. And that's in a COVID year where the total market was back. In 2019, there were only 4% of the true fleet passenger car market, but in 2020, they were 18%. To put this growth in perspective, in 2019, Nissan Leaf was the 17th best-selling C-segment hatch in the market. In 2020, Leaf broke into the top 10, and then in March, Leaf entered the top 5, overtaking vehicles like Leon, Octavia, Focus, and 1 Series. So it's fair to say EVs really have hit the mainstream. The second thing is that the best fleets test and trial, as Chris alluded to. All fleets will need to be EV focused by 2030, but the best ones will have learned and optimized their fleets in advance. Many of the fleets we work with identify advocates and build out from trials, where they put EVs through end user testing, they simulate journeys and operational uses of vehicles, starting firstly with parts of the fleet they believe can transition to electric vehicles the easiest. And once they've gained acceptance, they build out from there to other use cases with confidence. They often utilize a number of demonstrators, or they purchase a small number of electric vehicles to test and learn. Now, early on in my role, the aptly named David Watts from Arval shared some great wisdom with me. His view was you couldn't simply test EV driver suitability by looking at someone's journeys today. Anyone could switch to a BEV. It was just dependent on how much disruption or adjustment to the norm they could accept. And we have many fleets that use BEVs for activities on paper that looked impossible. But with relatively small adjustments to working practices, they could make them work. And I truly believe it's these fleets that test and learn early that will have a competitive advantage over others in time. So the most successful fleets pilot the use of EVs. The third trend is that the electric LCV market is the next big source of growth. The electric passenger car market has been hotter than the electric van market. There are still relatively few players in electric LCV, and they haven't benefited from the same stimulus, such as a benefit in kind change. The market is still evolving, and to achieve the 2030 goals, the change will need to be more rapid. From our data, we sell over 80% of our electric LCVs to major corporates and public sector organizations. They're often bought outright and configured to a certain specification that fits them, and they're likely to be retained for some time. So apart from the limits to new van supply, there's likely to be some limited supply of used electric LCV, given the longer vehicle retention periods. SMEs haven't been the early adopters of electric LCV to date, but they most certainly will in time. fleets will need to make more complex decisions about charging infrastructure and driver usage policies. The LCV fleets that can learn to operate their electric vehicles most optimally will have a real competitive advantage. They'll be very dependent on the collective resources of OEMs, leasing companies, and intermediaries to inform and support this change and transition at the right time in line with their operations. In conclusion, I believe it's the collective responsibility of the whole BVRLA member ecosystem to support this transition and to support it with pace. Thank you.